I liked your questions.
Yeah, well, thank you. Thank you, Dwayne. Yeah. Hey, everybody. You're joining us here again on the UFO podcast. We're going to just do a dry run here. Yeah.
I've been sniffing my armpits again.
Say hi to the people, Dwayne, to the
Hello
camera.
to the people out there.
All right. So we were talking about this Burt Reynolds thing, right? So,
Yeah.
So far I have, it's Burt Reynolds. This is the Burt Reynolds story, I'm going to call it. Or what do you want to call this story? What's...
It was literally the American BiCentennial program, or the hour. It was going to be a 2-hour special, actually.
A 2-hour special this was in the year 1976 for the BiCentennial
Of America.
of America, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So far I have the whole gist of it is it was a collaboration of actors,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So tell us more about that.
Well, some poor silly idiot had to dream it up, which was me. And there were so many other people that were coming up with their own specials.
Okay. So it was a common thing during this during this time, it's fair to say that everyone was kind of trying to figure out the next best thing for the 200-year celebration of the United States of America. And okay, so you think of this idea like, wait, well, I can think of something.
Sure.
Or how does that seed get planted in your head?
Stupidity. Yeah, I mean, you think you got more brain than balls, and somewhere up there, your head gets cut off.
Was it an influence of seeing something, or you just heard about people starting to trying to create things, and you're like, well, hell, I could do something.
Well, no, the talk was to the industry. America's BiCentennial is coming up. We've got to have something special for it. And they're talking about what stars to have. And to me, it really wasn't so much. I might get in trouble for this. It really wasn't so much who the stars are. The stars were the people of America, the people that were paying taxes, people that were doing jobs, doing 9-to-5s, people that were not being with their kids because they're working on an assembly line. Those were the stars of the program in my mind. And so I figured we should have a talent that represents that, coming from the grass earth, coming from the ground earth, and doing movies that kind of like say that. In some ways, in some things.
A representation of the people.
Yeah, like it's, not thumbs up, but thumbs up your butt, because you're such a pain in the ass. And one of the actors I thought, especially after the movie Deliverance, was the actor Burt Reynolds.
Deliverance. He was in that.
I believe so, yeah. I mean, it's been a long time, and I haven't thought about this in 20 years.
That's fair. Yeah, that's why I wanted to just roll on this, because as I'm asking you questions, it's all genuine, so it's all coming back to you. You haven't talked about this since probably the BiCentennial.
Correct. When Burt Reynolds called me and says, I really like it, but I'm busy with Jackie Gleason.
Well, hang on. All right, hang on. Okay, so let's backtrack to before you begin to get a call from Mr. Reynolds. So you think of this idea. Do you start writing? Do you start just pitching the idea? Tell me about the process that you went through creatively to make this happen.
I was looking for management at that time, and I had met a person called Alan Sandler, STF Productions, and he was tied in with all kinds of TV producers and writers and directors and stuff like that, and he was a very cool guy. He was right next to Samuel Goldwyn Studios on Santa Monica Boulevard off La Brea, or Highland, I forget now. But the bottom line is, I went to go see him looking for management, and he had a man in there who he'd been the manager at one point for Elvis Presley, Colonel Tom Parker. And I had met him through the Palomino, the country club.
So you've crossed paths with Colonel
Tom Parker
before this?
Yeah, at the country club.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you saw a familiar face in those offices?
Well, I didn't forget his face once I saw him again, but I didn't think he was there to see me. I had told my whole idea to this executive, and he brought in some people. One of the guys he brought in was a writer called Stan Burns. And I had explained, Stan Burns had been the writer for Get Smart with fellow, I can't remember the star's female name, but very talented lady. And he'd done some other big TV shows. He'd been around for a long time, brilliant writer for television. And he did specials, from what I was told. So they brought in Stan Burns, and Stan Burns had said, well, I'll write it for free because this is America's bicentennial. And they said, well, who are you going to get to play the music? Who are you going to get to be the music on the show? And I had recorded something with a gentleman produced it called Jimmy Haskell, all kinds of gold records, all kinds of platinum records, huge presentation records and songs and stuff. Just a major, major writer, conductor, creator. He was like the Nelson Riddle was to Frank Sinatra. Jimmy Haskell was. He was huge.
Big hitter.
Big hitter. And so we had laid down tracks for a song called Save Our Ship. And that was to go along with, there were 3 or 4 of the last 3 or 4 masted sailing ships in the United States. And they may have been dumped because it was very expensive to maintain them by the American Historical Society back east, back west somewhere.
These ships were from 1776.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
They were historic ships, but they just cost a lot of money. Vietnam had just been won. People were tired of the war. So there was nobody knew where this whole thing was going to go. So to me, it just seemed the only way to make this thing work was to get people out there that aren't the most glamorous people in the world. Burt Reynolds was a very handsome-looking man. But, you know, there are people who say, oh, well, he's not as good-looking as Tom Cruise or something like that. The bottom line is that I wanted to find people who represented America. And as we were discussing earlier, it's like the moms who are trying to work hard to pay for money for their kids' extra school or tutors or stuff like that. Maybe they they were late on a car payment. So this is who the heroes were of America, in my mind. And so Stan Burns jumped on board, Jimmy Haskell jumped on board, and then so could he get for a store? And I go, well, you know, I saw this actor in, you know, Deliverance. He was awesome. And then I saw him in Smokey and the Bandit, and I liked the singer, I think Jerry Reed. And he sang the theme song for Smokey and the Bandit. Sorry.
Oh, no worries.
Okay. And so...
And just for the people next time, just give me a heads up.
I did.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, just make it a little more obvious.
Sorry.
I'm over here, you know.
Okay, sorry.
There you go.
So anyway, who the hell is this long-haired jerk in here? No, not you, me. Anyway, so they kept saying, what star are you going to get? And I says, Burt Reynolds. I says, I think he's perfect. You know, and I like doing banjos a whole lot. You know, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And so they said, well, great. Oh, so you got to get a guy to get him. So I was sent to a gentleman. I think it was kind of like, yeah, good luck with this guy. He was really great. His name was Marty Pacetta. And everything I knew about Mr. Pacetta is that he was the game show king at that time. Merv Griffin was the guest star for talk chief of TV shows. And but Mr. Pacetta said, if you can get Burt Reynolds, I will produce it. I will get everything you need. You won't have to lift a finger and says, I want to be there. I want to do something too. You know, says, what you going to do? I says, well, you know, I remembered a movie years ago. I don't know if it was Captain Blood or whatever, but I think Errol Flynn or Douglas Fairbanks Sr. Did this in the movie where they're being captured or taken by pirates or taken by the English. This is back in the 1700s in the storyline. And so this top stunt action adventure guy, which may have been Errol Flynn of his day, which may have been Douglas Fairbanks Sr., as the soldiers are chasing him across one of the masts, the sidebars of this huge sailing flag, whatever you want to call it, sail, he sticks his knife into the canvas and starts sliding down the top. And as he gets down to the bottom, he stabs some bad guys or good guys, whoever side they're on. And he takes over the ship, and they go into the harbor, and yay, we won the battle. And I figured, you know, that looked pretty good when I was a little kid and saw it on black and white TV. Why don't we do it for real? You know, just like they did in the old days, you know? And who are you going to get to do this, Burt Reynolds? He's perfect. And so then they say, well, great. You're crazy enough to think of this thing. You're crazy enough to find a way to get him. Okay. So I came up with a plan, and away we went. And nobody wanted to know what I was doing because they says, I'll do whatever it takes to get Mr. Reynolds. And they go, okay, good luck. And they did that. And when you got him, let us know.
Yeah. Give us a call, kid.
They couldn't get hurt. So anyway, I knew different people on different studio lots, and I was trying to find out, well, where was Burt Reynolds' office? It was so secret. And I find that it was at the Samuel Goldwyn Studios. And I go, crap, I don't have any friends over there. How am I going to get on Samuel Goldwyn? So
where was that located?
it's right near where A&M Records was with Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass in Hollywood, off La Brea and Santa Monica Boulevard. Right on Santa Monica Boulevard, next to a famous Asian cafe called the Formosa Cafe. Really nice place.
Okay.
If you want to make a deal, you'd go to the Formosa or you'd some other places. So, and they said, well, he's at Samuel Goldwyn Studios. So I began to figure, I got to find out if he's got his name on a parking space. I got to see how tight security is because I'm going to have to sneak on.
Yeah, so this was a studio, a real life studio with
Oh,
stages
yeah.
and all.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty amazing.
With security guards and cameras and me who wanted to get Mr. Reynolds.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I staked out the studio at the Formosa Cafe, and I got a cardboard box pizza to go, and I stood outside Samuel Goldwyn's gate. And there were 200. So this took a couple of weeks. Now I told my teacher at Cal State Northridge what I'm going to do, and he goes, "You are out of your effing mind." And I go, "Well, you failed me if I don't show up to class for a while because I'm going to try and stake out Burt Reynolds and get him for this TV show." He goes, "If you can give Burt Reynolds, I'll give you a day." So I go, "Yes." So I staked out for almost 3 weeks, the front gate and the back gate. And one day, I saw Burt Reynolds drive his lime green Rolls Royce onto the lot. And security just passed him by. They go, "Geez, it's easy enough for him to get on. Why can't I get in like that?" And so I started just to walk in the gate. And the guy says, "Well, who are you with?" And I knew I shouldn't. I was going to say Burt Reynolds, but I knew I shouldn't because if I was called on it to back it up, I'd fail. Then they'd be looking for me.
Yeah.
Wouldn't help. So I figured, okay. So I ran around the corner by the Formosa Cafe, looked over the fence. I climbed up the ivy. It was a chain link fence, but ivy had grown through it. So I could climb up the ivy, and you couldn't. Morning glories is what they were. So you couldn't really see me because I would just kind of pull the vines over me, so security wouldn't see me. So
wait.
what?
Say it. So you would just hide in these vineyards these vines, and you would like just kind of blend in.
I would just grab a whole handful and pull them all over me, and I'd just keep looking for Burt Reynolds.
Okay, yeah, excellent.
Yeah, it's just a big morning glory, whatever.
Yeah.
I'd showered, so I didn't smell bad.
No, I think that's incredible, man. That's really, it's really fucking awesome, dude. Really
Thanks.
Is. So okay.
The best part is I didn't get arrested yet. So anyway,
so you're in the bushes. You're watching security.
I'm in the bushes on Santa Monica Boulevard, which was very well known for prostitution. I'm hiding in the ivy. Yeah. Okay. What's wrong with this picture? So I saw Mr. Reynolds' car come in, and I saw what parking area he was in, but I couldn't see the concrete block. And they go, crap, and I didn't know. So I began telephoning. I says, "I'm from AC Delivery. I'm from the air conditioner company. We have complaints in Mr. Reynolds' suite that the heat's up too high or the air's too cold, and the plumbing doesn't work, and poop is coming up in the whatever I could think of, and sound like I might be legit." And I never sounded legit enough to bullshit my way in. So I went back to Mr. Posada, and he goes, "You have to be more forceful, be more direct. Take a light and hang it on what the hell you shouldn't be doing and swing it and say, 'Come get me.'" He says, "There's your confidence builder." I go, "Yes, sir." So I began visiting studio lots and saying, okay, who's got trash bins outside the gate or who's got trash bins near the gate? Well, MGM Studios did. Who was it? He did Blazing Saddles, that comedian writer. Mel Blanc. No,
Mel
not
Blanc.
Mel Blanc.
Okay.
He's a ventriloquist. Oh, Blazing Saddles, with the cowboys.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. And so anyway, I found he was on.
Are you talking about the actor?
Mel Brooks.
Mel Brooks.
The writer, producer,
Mel
director.
Brooks, right.
Mel Brooks, yeah. So I found out he was over at MGM. And I knew some people that had worked for him, so I figured if I get into trouble and they're going to arrest me, I'll just throw out my get out of jail free card, I think. Anyway, so I found out where they kept the film cans, and they would deliver film negative. They would deliver copies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Maybe not the actual negative, but they would deliver copies, things they were working on. So I climbed the fence, jumped over the barbed wire, laid a T-shirt on top of it so I wouldn't get too scratched up, fell down inside the trash bin, the big dumpster, the big green ones,
Yeah.
only it was a different color dumpster. And I fell into the bin, and it made a lot of noise because they're big cans, like they're a projector. The cans that the film goes into theaters, I think that's probably what it was, because they're big, big rolls. And I made some noise and I landed inside. Then I had to get down. Security came walking by and I go, this really sucks. And I wonder if I got enough money to bail myself out of jail for trespassing. I'm thinking of all those important things.
Yeah. So you at the lowest point right now, like, geez, like
Not totally low. That was yet to come.
Okay. But at that point, you're probably really paranoid, like, Jesus, like,
Are you there?
thinking of a plan B.
Yeah, I was already on plan B and C, So anyway, I grabbed 5 film cans and I gently dropped them on the ground, and they went clunk, clunk, and security came out, 2 security guards, and they went away. Going, what the hell's going on here? Grabbed my cans, duct taped them real quick, and ran out of the lot. Ran over the back gate, which went to their old location set where they did Young Frankenstein.
Oh, wow.
That was my getaway place, was going out to the old set from Young Frankenstein.
Yeah.
That was really cool. And so I got out, and I got out with 5 film cans. And so I also, there was different paperwork. So I took them the next day to a copy shop, and they altered the names, and I put down Burt Reynolds delivery over at Burt Reynolds office suites. I didn't know what floor he was on, but I knew he was in that part of the lot.
Right.
I'd seen him in his rolls from the Ivy, the Morning Glory finds. Okay, so now I got my film cans. Now I got my receipts, for the delivery of the film cans to Reynolds Street. But I had no idea where it was, and I didn't want to tell security. Can you tell me where his suite is? That's just too obvious. Probably would have worked. So I had seen that there were concrete blocks that the cars had put their wheels up against, chalk blocks. And so I went to a stationery store and I bought 200 pencils. And I sharpened them all because they had to look good, And got to be able to write my name in pencil if I get arrested. So then I had these 5 film cans. I went and I got some food and Chinese food to go, and found out where Mr. Reynolds' room office was. Because what happened is I'm walking through, I finally get on the lot with the pizza, with the cans, the film cans with the pizza. I'm delivering this to Mr. Reynolds' office. Well, do you know where he is? And of course I know where he is. And so I give him my 200 pencils. So what I would do is once I got around the corner from the security guard shack, and they just had one guard in the front, one guard in the back, I started taking out a pencil and dropping it on the ground.
Leaving breadcrumbs behind, or
yes. So every time I drop a pencil, oh, dope it you, I could bend over and see the name and the room number of the concrete block.
Yeah.
And go, well, I broke the lid on that one. Get another pencil out. Because this went on for a while. I mean, it turned out there was more than one lime green Rolls Royce. I'm not going to mention this director's name. But he had a lime green Rolls Royce, and I'd met him with a friend in a sandwich shop, and I tried to buy his screw jacket off of him. And he actually was going to cast me in a movie because I was such a pain in the ass. It was just the right kind of guy for a character.
This
down the line.
This was further down the line.
Yeah, I'll tell you his name later on.
Yeah, sure.
Because he's still alive and he's making movies today. But anyway, don't want to get blacklisted. So anyway, I dropped my pencils. It took about 50 pencils to finally found the right car and the right block and the right room number. Okay, so remember, I already had my film cans inside. And I told the guard I had to go to the bathroom, and he goes, well, you can't leave those out here. I said, well, it's just going to be a minute. I said, I can't let it come. I got diarrhea. So I ate at the restaurant. And I said, I'll be right out. And so I did my little thing, dropping the pencils. And, you know, it was a strange mix of kismet, of God's hand, of whatever that made this whole thing work. And just being really young, dumb, and stupid, that, I think. And Burt Reynolds was really a good sport. Okay, so I got my pencils, I got my room number, I got my film cans, I got another boxes of pizza, and I really got real pizza because if they wanted, I could have given the security guard a box, but it better not be empty. So it's got to have pizza in it. So I spent money on pizzas.
Of course.
And of course.
Yeah.
And so now I go upstairs. He's on the second or third floor, find the room number, and there wasn't anybody around. And so I talked to him and sort of, who are you looking for? Oh, Mr. Reynolds' office. These are film cans. And I got some pizza. I guess they're working that. He goes, well, geez, they're all out at lunch. You know, it's going to be cold. Just get it down there. Go on that door over there on the left or the right, whatever. And I go, wow, if you only knew who I was not. And so I go and I knock, 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 you know, and the door opens up and here's Mr. Reynolds. And he's putting his pants on. And I guess he was changing. And he looks up. He goes, "Oh, just put." I said, "Delivery," and he's just put it over there. And he goes, "Okay." And so I put the film cans down. I put the pizza down. And I realized I'm in Burt Reynolds' office. I'm with Burt Reynolds, and he's and I got pizza and I got film cans from MGM and I got paperwork that doesn't belong to me. And man, I'm gonna go to jail. So I was getting, I was waning. So I left, and after I left,
were you just a little overloaded?
Chickened out. Yeah, I guess I chickened out.
Right on.
But
you knew where the spot was.
I knew where the spot was. But I got into the office. I got into his inner sanctum, and his secretary was coming back just as I was heading down the stairs, and she says, "Were you upstairs?" I goes, "Hi. I delivered some film cans and pizza to Mr. Reynolds' office." She goes, "Oh, well, you signed for him?" "Oh, yes." Then I got the hell out of there. Okay, so the next day I called her from Cal State Northridge. I got the secretary. And I started telling her this stupid story. And she goes, we wondered who you were. And here's all these film processing cams from MGM from their photo department. How did you get those? I took them out of the trash can when I climbed over the barbed wire fence on Mel Brooks' back lot. She goes, who the hell are you? I go, I need Mr. Reynolds for a special. I've got rattled off Jimmy Haskell. I didn't say Marty Passett. I didn't want him to get in trouble. I used people's names who were kind of like a little bit on the outer border, but really gung-ho, crazy people. And, whether she checked them, I don't know. But the bottom line is, I explained to her what I wanted Mr. Reynolds for, and she was really against. She says, he's tied up. He's tied up. I says, could you please just talk this over with him? And she goes, I can't bring him this. I go, okay, well, thank you very much. Well, anyway, I guess she thought about it overnight, and she told Mr. Reynolds, and they had their own little deal. If he calls, I'm going to talk to him. Anybody that goes to all that trouble is out of his effing mind, but he may have a great idea for a special that nobody else has come up with. He said, I've been hit with specials ever since the BiCentennial was coming up, the BiCentennial was coming up, and nothing motivated me. This guy's got passion. So I called back, and she says, excuse, is this so-and-so from Cal State Northridge who left the pizzas in the film cans that were all stolen? Well, I said, I bought the pizza, and I kept returning the film can. She says, just a minute. And she says, Mr. Reynolds will take your call now. And so he comes on, he goes, hello, this is Burt Reynolds. I go, Mr. Reynolds, I'm calling from Cal State Northridge. I need you for a TV special. Jimmy Haskell's doing the music. Stan Burt's is doing the writing. Marty Passett is going to be the executive producer. And he says, who are you? I'm just there to make things fun. And he says, let me get this straight. So you went to MGM and you got the film can reels? Yes, sir. So did you steal the pizza? No, I paid for the pizza. But I said, how'd you find out where my office was? And I told him about the pencils. I told him I was hiding in the ivy by Santa Monica Boulevard. And I says, some prostitute was trying to pick me up in the bushes. And that made it easy and made him laugh. He goes, wow, you are unique, aren't you? I go, no, I'm just passionate. He says, come by my office tomorrow. We'll talk real quick. So I came by, and he gave me the film cans. He gave me some empty boxes of pizza. Thanks for the pizza. But he says, we have a conflict. We're using Jackie Gleason. We have a conflict. And I can't do the bicentennial. You know, I'm booked up right now years in advance, and there's no way I could do this. But he says, geez, it's a great idea. He said, I could introduce it to somebody else. I go, no, I'm going to put faith in you. You're going to come back to this, and we're going to get to do it with you. He goes, don't hold your breath. But he says, I really appreciate it. So he left the line. The secretary came out, and she says, Miss Reynolds, and I talked a lot about this. He talked to his manager, and we're thinking of trying to put back Jackie Gleason's schedule on filming for Smokey and the Bandit. But he says, because it was such an unusual project. But he says, out of respect for my idea, they weren't going to tell anybody else. But they were hoping I would find somebody who could do it that would fit the bill. Sorry about that. Wow, I haven't thought about that whole thing in a long time.
So that was the end of it.
Basically, yeah, because when I met Colonel Tom Parker's manager, at the time I met him, I didn't know who he was. I was doing. They had like an open mic night, so to say. It wasn't karaoke. They had a band up there, and you'd go on. You can sing some cowboy songs and stuff. And so somebody sent me over there to sing that night, and they knew that Colonel Tom Parker would be in the audience. And so he was there. I didn't know he was there. And if I'd have seen him, I wouldn't have recognized him anyway. So I was set up to meet him over at STF Studios. And so they had me do a song that Jimmy Hassel had produced called Save Our Ship. I think it was written by Three Dog Night. I think the demo was on Three Dog Night. We'll look it up and you'll see it. You'll even hear it. And so anyway, when I was introduced to me, he says, well, I'm Colonel Tom Parker. I said, excuse me, I don't know who you are. And he looks at the guy that he looked at Jimmy Haskell, and he goes, he doesn't know who you are. And he goes, where are you from? He says, you look like you're native. I go, yes, sir, I'm half Comanche Indian. He goes, well, where are you from? He said, everybody knows who I am. I'm sorry, I don't know who you are, sir. I'm Elvis Presley's manager. They go, ooh. And so anyway, yeah, he was a good sport. Says, well, can you perform the song? I go, yes. He goes, let me guess, you bought a tape recorder. I bought a reel-to-reel deck with me. It's out in the station wagon. It's in the station wagon. So he says, go get your reel-to-reel from the station wagon. He thought that was funny. And I'm sure Elvis knew what a station wagon was. So anyway, I performed the song. It was really cool. And did a little acrobatic thing with a chair. And but I still couldn't get Burt Reynolds. But anyway, that was one of my more wild adventures in trying to lock somebody up for talent or some talent. I mean, like, you know, you got writers, you got directors, producers. I needed the whole thing.
Yeah. And that's why it never came about, right? Because Burt Reynolds was all booked up, huh?
He was all booked up.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. But he was a super cool guy. He was just the greatest person. You know, you hear a lot of things that you always got people that are taking care of the image of different talent. Maybe some need it, maybe some don't. But
yeah, I mean, Burt Reynolds was a household name during that time.
Yeah, and he really was. I'm convinced he's like Dolly Parton. I was asked to come by an actor called Denver Pyle, who was on Dukes of Hazzard. He played Uncle Jesse, and
Go ahead.
Something smoking.
No, we're just.
Oh yeah. So anyway, so I got to know Sonny Schroyer, Enos on the show, but Denver Pyle was the main guy. He played Uncle Jesse, and I lost my point. Sorry, I was distracted. My mind just.
No worries. No, I think this was a good run here. You know, right. Telling your story. I know you've been wanting to tell the story for a while.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we did.
Thank you for the opportunity.
I'm happy we just ran on it. Honestly, I didn't think it was gonna go this well, and it did, Dwayne.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I didn't know either.
I think it was great. Yeah, I'm like getting close to the end here, and I think we should wrap this up. And we'll move on to the next episode, Dwayne. All right.
Thank you all. Thank everybody out there. Thanks for being patient. Let me get through all this stuff. And thank you, John. You take care, bro.
Yeah, no worries. All right, everyone. You're listening to the UFO podcast with Dwayne and John Chad. All right, everyone. Yeah, go ahead. That's Dwayne's jacket.
Well, you know, when we were on motion pictures or TV shows, usually motion pictures, we were making up crew jackets, making up T-shirts and stuff like that, and UFO hats.
Merchandising.
Yeah, merchandising. Like, there's some UFO hats up there. There's another UFO jacket over there. There's a dead rat in the corner. But, you know, if anybody been just interested,
Yeah, go ahead. I'll pull them out. Dwayne and I found a box of a lot of these shirts he had made up on different shows, and yeah, a lot of these they're only in XL, but if anyone's interested, you know, feel free to give us a DM and see if you guys like them. Yeah, these are real vintage shirts that you had made up back in the 90s.
Yes, they were high quality. They were 8-color silk screen color processing. And they're really a good cloth material. I don't like if anything that would go on the company's stuff to wear. You want to be proud of yourself and stuff like that because we work hard. And the T-shirts. So
here's the front.
Yeah.
Hopefully you guys can see it.
Oh, the back is good too.
That's the front there, and here's the back side.
That's the first UFO. There've been 2 of those things. The second one's really cool.
Yeah, we'll touch more base on that. And I think let me just wrap this up before it just cuts off.
Okay.
So why don't you say bye to the people?
Goodbye, people.
All right, everyone. Have a good night.
Thank you.